Hello, welcome to the Snap UK here at Chateau Gym. We also have a podcast dog, so if you hear tip tapping, it's Enid wandering around the floor.
Anybody pass me a Sharpie?
Well, we know it's going now, so we're here with obviously Jim, myself, Paul, and Griff.
Hello.
Gary is not with us.
Just here tonight, or in general?
Just tonight.
He's
not
just
dead.
checking.
Yeah. He did say, he said to invite you guys round on, and anyone listening. Round
So us.
Yeah.
So if you're free, Duncan.
Well, yeah. The Super Divisional round.
It's not a thing.
The Divisional round,
There we go.
which was super. Actually, it was a really, it's my favourite weekend of the year because generally there's no bad teams, apart from the Bucks. Generally,
They're not a bad
They weren't
team.
terrible.
they're not terrible.
They were the worst team left.
They were the
but
worst
they
team.
did okay.
They're
That was
fine.
fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, we now know who's going to be in the Super Championship round. And we'll do a roundup. So we'll start with the AFC. So number one seed, the Ravens, beat the Texans. It was all square at the half, but the Ravens had been the better team. Just the Texans hadn't done anything, but
They had
the
one 80-yard return.
Yeah,
And that was about it.
That was pretty much all. I think they scored a field goal as well.
I think they missed one as well.
It was comfortably CJ Stroud's least impressive game since about week 2.
Yeah,
But this Ravens defense is really good.
they asphyxiate, don't you?
There's a reason why they're the number one seed in the AFC. There's a reason why I'm going to be picking them to win the Super Bowl. They are.
Are we?
Yeah, I am. I'm picking them to win. They're going to piss all over you. I'm going to be laughing my little titties off.
So bitter since the Patriots.
Yeah,
They're
I am.
crap, aren't
Yeah.
Little titties.
Is it just the AFC have to win? Is this like what it is? Just if you can't have the Patriots, you'll have the conference.
Yes. No. No. It just I can't back Jim and Gary, and neither can you.
I mean, I don't like the Ravens.
Yeah, you can pick a different team.
The Chiefs. For
Chiefs, yeah, maybe.
I'm rooting for
Spoiler
Usher.
alert. God.
So, we need to go back to pre-season and remember that Lamar could have just walked away
Yeah, if
anybody had
For instance-
bothered to offer him the money. And everyone said he's not good enough, and we're not sure he's going to be on the field long enough, so we're not going to give him a guaranteed contract.
I don't think that was the case.
Do you not?
No.
What do you think was the case?
I think everyone else knew that he was never going to leave the Ravens. It was all just a bit
Posturing.
of posturing.
but
Otherwise-
I'd have loved to have seen the Falcons call their
Yeah,
bluff.
exactly. If it wasn't the case, if you're right, somebody would have said something. Somebody would have offered some. Let's face it, one team gave up 3 first-round picks and $250 million for an alleged rapist.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, whilst he has had his injury concerns and some form issues,
He had at least played last year, for instance.
But I get it though. I mean, in terms of if you took away his legs, I'm not meaning remove his legs. But
if you took his ability to scramble,
you've not got the same player.
You've got RG3.
I think his throwing
Now-
has improved a lot this year.
Massively,
Yeah.
massively. But
But I guess going into the year, that there was probably question marks about his fitness, and there were question marks about his accuracy. Still, I think both of those have improved.
And a new coordinator.
Yeah.
Which has worked seemingly. Greg Roman I've already forgotten the name of the new guy.
Todd Monken.
Todd Monken.
But he was a very successful coordinator in college, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Well, Greg Roman is fine for a point period. We can slag off Greg Roman. Greg Roman also got Lamar Jackson an MVP. It just doesn't. He has a timeline as of other coordinators do, but because we might get on to Greg Roman later. But yeah, I'd have loved to have seen another team call their bluff.
Yeah.
Like the Falcons, the Commanders, all these teams that are quarterback needy, and the Falcons aren't that. They've got a great defense. They have some weapons potentially that could be used. I'd have loved to have seen them just gone, basically fuck the Ravens over and just say, well, here's two first-round picks. Here's a guaranteed contract for Lamar. What are you going to do?
I think also the Falcons feel a bit like the Broncos did before Wilson got there.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Yeah.
Well, I think the Wilson experiment in Broncos.
Bronco country.
Yeah.
That's right.
The Wilson experiment sounds like something you do with a terrible basketball.
I honestly think
Yeah.
there's a lot of GMs who don't want to get burned. The Wilson-Watson experiment has...
Yeah.
I think it's made people more nervous for that sort of bumper deal.
That's fair. Anyway.
I agree. So, on a more positive note, though, moving aside from whether or not Lamar was really up for grabs, props to Isaiah Likely, who has filled the Mark Andrews-shaped tight end hole at the Raiders.
You were right, Jim.
I was
you
right
were right
2 seasons ago when he came out the draft about this guy. He is brilliant.
It's about time you got something right from the draft, isn't it?
Yeah, likely story.
Christian Watkins as well.
Look,
Watson.
he looks like a difference maker. If they are
the
going to
one.
get Mark Andrews back as well, which is possible.
Are they?
Well, it's possible. Then that would be an absolute tandem. But there's no real drop-off. He doesn't look significantly worse.
Yeah, I mean, his touchdown grab.
Yeah.
That was a heck of a... it was a good throw, but he plucked it out of the air.
Yeah, well, before that, the target that he didn't catch, I think it was knocked away.
It was too low.
He then went to Lamar and said,
Yeah,
you've got to
seemed
put it higher.
higher.
And the next one was, a foot and a half above his head, and he went up and high-pointed it. And you can't stop him. He's a beast.
Yeah.
I think having Beckham there is really helpful because they have to cover him.
Yeah.
Like it's not like your normal third receiver that you're sort of leaving to see what.
This is the first year that Jackson's had legitimate wide receiver weapons outside of Mark Andrews.
Yes.
He's had a litany of wide receivers who have been piss poor.
Hollywood Brown was a 1,000-yard receiver. He's not bad.
He's all right.
But I suppose he's not someone you build an offense around.
It's not Beckham, is he?
No. What's he done since he went to Arizona?
Yeah, but
What's anyone done since they've been to Arizona?
Hopkins.
Sunbird.
Hopkins was all right.
Didn't win anything though, did they?
No. But then, you could say the same for a multitude of other teams.
Oh, Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer, but he won the Super Bowl.
won the Super Bowl, yeah.
I forgot about
Devontae Adams?
Yeah, he's never won anything.
Yep.
I forgot about the Tampa Bay.
Has he
Super
not
Bowl.
led the league in just about every stat going though?
Not won anything, has he?
I don't know. No, I don't believe so. No.
But yeah.
And he never will.
Not anymore.
It seems unlikely. But so he's got proper weapons, and so between that and the suffocating defence, this is why they are my favourite. This is why they are the pick. It feels like a team that never goes away, and on their down seasons they still make the playoffs, and it's just there. The push is ready.
Genuinely probably one of the, if not the best round organisations, like from top down. Like they had Ozzie Newsome as general manager. He handed it over, and they've not missed a beat.
No.
Yeah.
And they've kept John Harbaugh in place.
Been there 16 years?
Yeah. And
So is he now the longest tenured coach?
No, I think Tomlin's still above him.
Oh, of course, Tomlin. Yes.
But there were rumours. Was it last year, a couple of years, where they had a slightly down season? They were like, is Harbour in trouble?
Well, that's like a down season where they've got 9 wins.
Yeah,
probably.
exactly. And it's the guy who knows how to win a Super Bowl. It's not like he's kind of Pete Carroll, where his message has got stale or kind of people stop taking notice of him.
Dance is like Pete Carroll.
Dance is probably worse than Pete Carroll. I would go as far as.
Tomlin's 17 years, John Harbaugh 16 years.
The one thing you've got to consider, though, for this weekend, Steve Spagnuolo will be licking his lips waiting for this offense.
I think it's a great matchup.
Absolutely brilliant.
Happy it's the first game, so we can watch it and not be half asleep.
Yeah. Yeah, it means effectively, it doesn't mean anything. Like, whoever you're going to play
So
if you guys make
before you move
it's
on,
gonna be
then,
good.
quick word about the Texans. They'd have snatched a handoff for this season, having been worst last year.
100%, yeah.
Right?
They just get
Second
into the
worst.
playoffs.
D'Amico
is
Ryans the
always
coach
second
of the season?
I think so, yeah.
Like, to turn that ship around?
Yeah.
I think that's an I mean, I know they've got lucky with the quarterback, but they've drafted the quarterback, so you can say lucky.
But you
or
make your
otherwise.
own luck, don't you?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, the Panthers drafted Bryce Young ahead of him, and they've been shit.
No, exactly.
To take quarterback second overall and then draft up to get
Trade
third.
back up to get the third round, get
Is-
your third pick, and get Will Anderson, who's been potentially defensive rookie of the year candidate.
Yeah, to turn Nico Collins into a class receiver.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is,
Knowing you've got 2 first-round picks the year after, it was smart. You know, Will Anderson has been a difference maker. To me, what they need to do is add depth.
and they will. They will. I mean,
But like,
for me, that puts pressure on D'Amico Ryans instantly because you've
It
got the
does.
second and third pick. I think also, like, you forget they have got some depth. Like, Derek Stingley Jr. is a hell of a cornerback.
but as well, D'Amico Ryans has brought that out of him. He wasn't very good last year.
Right.
They've got Laramie Tunsil as an All-Pro.
Having Laramie Tunsil to protect CJ Stroud is just an awesome. That's going to be a brilliant combination.
I also think this success, the success they had this year, it will encourage players like Laramie Tunsil to stay there. Like if they had another down season, Tunsil's getting on in age. He's like, I want to go somewhere, at least compete. Because
Is he 10 years in the league now?
yeah,
Tunsil?
I mean, he was with the Dolphins when they weren't competing. He obviously got traded to the Texans, and they've never really been competing. Like, it's like Trent Williams going to the 49ers. It's like, fine, he's on a good player on a good team. I can compete. But now he goes into the offseason going, great, we're building for next year. We've got cap space, draft picks still. Like, if I was a Texans fan, I'd be excited.
No, it's a really exciting time. Like, you've developed Nico Collins into a leading wide receiver 2.
Get Tank Dell back.
Tank Dell back. Like, this is exciting.
They turned Devin Singletary into a watchable running back.
Yeah.
But they've always done well with running backs, haven't they?
They-
Even going back to like
I think they-
Arian
Foster.
I think they need more
I think
depth,
more depth there.
Damien Pierce
I
hasn't
think
worked this
that's
year.
the only downside to the year is Pierce probably didn't live up to the hype.
I mean, even as like a Giants fan, if I got that season out of the Giants, I'd
There were
piss myself in glee.
there are some incredible running
Some
backs on the
great
free
running
agents.
backs coming out. Yeah, I mean, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. If they're
Derrick
going
Henry.
to get one of those, Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Derrick Henry.
that would be a good shout. You probably want to go and stick
in
it
the
to the
division
stay in the
and
division.
stick it to the Titans.
Yeah.
And have Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah,
Can you imagine?
No, I'd love it, but yeah, it's a well-run team with a team that seems to be slowly, like an oil tanker, very slowly turning in the right direction. In the other game, so it's the playoffs. It's the AFC. So eventually, you're going to get the Chiefs versus the Bills.
What a game.
Yeah,
What a game.
By the way, can we just go back to last week and those predictions?
yeah,
So
right.
I don't think so. I don't
Can we
need
just
to.
come-
That's why Gary's not here.
So, who wasn't it? 3 people going for the Bills and 1 person going for the Chiefs. Who went for the Chiefs, John?
I don't think we'd need to know
It
that.
was actually 4 people going for the Bills because I picked them as well.
So, who was the 1 person who didn't?
Was it you, Paul?
It was the person who
Yeah, but it's
predicted it successfully.
That's only got one prediction right.
Yeah, it's important not to be a dick, isn't it?
I've been going for the Chiefs every year since the year they drafted Mahomes, and they've rarely proved me wrong.
That Matt Castle year was a brave one. I mean, look, this was a great game. Tyler Bass has been getting some serious heat online.
Yeah.
Now, he fudged that kick. That was a bad miss. But the Bills had other opportunities. The receivers had struggled in the second half.
Yeah,
They just didn't. They just didn't finish.
They had -4 yards in the fourth quarter on the ground.
yeah.
Jesus.
They just didn't finish. The Chiefs did what they always do, which is they found a way. They've not had a good season, and yet this was one of their better games.
Form of champions.
Yeah.
But their defence is leaky as fuck.
The defense for a few weeks we've been going. Oh, the defense is looking good, and it looked bad.
It didn't look, but I mean, Josh Allen though, Can you say enough about him? I know we're living in the Mahomes era. Like, he's going to be the Tom Brady of this era. But it's not so bad to be known as the Peyton Manning of your era, is
He's
it?
going to be known as the Jim Kelly of this era.
Maybe. Or maybe.
Yeah,
But-
to be fair, that's too good a likeness. At least Jim Kelly got to a Super Bowl.
And I still think Josh Allen
will,
But,
I think.
man,
Maybe
he
won't.
is so
Will he,
good.
though?
No, the window's closed.
I don't know about
No,
Windows.
because Paul's got a point. Like, this year, he's getting paid $18 million,
Yeah.
and he's been on that type of money
Yeah.
since he came into the league. Next year, that jumps to $40 million.
Yeah, but I don't
that-
think it matters. They're going to keep Sean McDermott. They're going to keep building the team. And by the way, while we're on this subject, I know Gary's not here, but no one's calling for Sean McDermott, who's failed again, to go.
I did
Scott,
earlier this
excuse
week.
me. Yeah.
You think he should go?
I was in our group.
Through the season,
Now,
I've been saying this. It's Tony Dungy.
And yet we've just discussed the fact that Tomlin and Harbaugh are in their jobs for 17 years and 16 years respectively, and they quite often don't get this far or further than this.
But they won a Super Bowl, both of them.
Yeah, but you've got to give McDermott time.
No. No, you don't.
When did Tomlin win a Super Bowl?
The year,
2008?
The second year he was in role.
2009.
2009. That's so to me. That's 14 years now of
Disappointment?
middling
but that
performances.
pros column you're writing for Tomlin, yes, that Super Bowl win. That pro column for McDermott, what's he done? Got us to the Super Bowl, got us to the playoffs and choked every
But
time.
that's like saying Dan Marino's not very good because he didn't win a Super Bowl. It doesn't
Dan
stack
Marino
up.
got to a Super Bowl.
It doesn't matter if you don't win it. It doesn't matter, does it? Like, it doesn't stack up. This was the knock on Andy Reid all the years with the Eagles, that he didn't win.
Yeah,
And then they changed their head coach.
And they sacked him, and eventually,
And he got a Super Bowl and the Eagles got a Super Bowl.
eventually, but they didn't get one immediately.
No, but for me,
McDermott hasn't exhausted his time at the Bills yet.
I think you're probably right, but I do think there is a case for considering it.
I'm not saying
The
he
thing
has to
for
be.
McDermott, the thing that saves McDermott, he recognised there was an issue and he made the change. Offensive
That is true.
coordinator.
Yep.
We can go on about all teams have injuries. Their defence is obliterated.
It is as well. You're right.
And
Von
actually,
Miller was rubbish.
Von
this
Miller
year.
was rubbish.
And got
Von
paid.
Miller, yeah,
Von Miller got paid $2.6 million a tackle this
yeah.
year.
Like, and he is on a big deal next year as well. Like they have sold the house.
to cut him.
It has to go.
They're still going to be paying him, but he just wants to be playing for them.
Well, yeah, but you can. It's a ridiculous contract.
To your point,
But yeah,
all their starting linebackers are injured. They've had trouble in the corner.
tackle.
They've never
defensive
really
tackle.
had a good edge pass rush. Like Ed Oliver has been great for the last few years. I think this was his first game in 2 years where he didn't get a single pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But he was up against Joe Tooney, who's a quality guard.
yeah.
And if there's no other pressure from anywhere else on that line, then everything can focus on him. I hear what you're saying about McDermott, and it's contrary to the argument that I've made about Mike McCarthy and Nick Sirianni, who I think are, quite frankly, lucky to be in their jobs still. John's point is right. McDermott took action to correct what was going wrong. Mike McCarthy and Sirianni just go, what?
Yeah. You look at the performance of the Bills. Yeah, they've come up short again, but they are playing like this is the thing about the Sirianni question is for me. That Eagles performance reminded me of the game where the Chargers played the Raiders, and the defense just didn't bother tackling.
Stood back, yeah, and
And-
conceded 60-odd points.
Yeah. And that's where
Yeah.
that's what I was watching the Eagles do. And I was like,
So-
this looks like a guy who's lost the dressing room.
But I think
They've decided, well, but I think McDermott realised what's going wrong. He made the change.
Yeah. And the Bills have basically had 6 playoff games in a row. Like
Yeah.
those last run, they had to win every single game, and they did.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he's in a very different situation to Sirianni, who lost 6 going into the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with you in terms of, and especially as Gary said, not here to give me the contra. I think Sirianni should go, but you mentioned earlier with Dungy at the Bucks. I think they've reached the point of saturation with him as head coach. You look at a lot of other teams have made the switch at this point and benefited. I'm not saying he's done a bad job. I'm not saying he deserves to be gone, but I think he's taken them as far as he can go.
Maybe is it that this team, this current iteration have gone as far, and he deserves a chance to rebuild.
Potentially, but I think they have.
Whilst they've still got a team who are playing for him, the only person who, like, Diggs has looked, Diggs, I think it might be time.
I kind of think they are, just because of the Josh Allen contract and because of the way other things are falling. I think they are going to have to go into a bit of a rebuild.
Stephon Diggs wasn't very good.
Stephon Diggs wasn't really good.
He hasn't been very good the back half of the season.
Exactly. Khalil Shakir has outgained him on less receptions, on quite a big difference. I think Stephon Diggs will go. I think Von Miller will potentially go. They'll probably clear a few other older players like Matt Milano, unfortunately. I think it's a quality, but
he's very expensive.
He's very expensive.
If they lose Von Miller, I think Milano will stay. He's so good.
He's
so good.
But he's expensive and he's getting old. If now is the time to start a bit of a rebuild, and if Sean McDermott is the guy you want to do it, it has to start sooner or later. I don't think you can do it half-hearted. I think you got to go. You got to go full rebuild around Josh Allen.
But for me, you've got to either got to shit or get off the pot here. If you're rebuilding, give him time.
Yep.
If you think the window's open, move on. That's what I feel. He's not a bad coach. He's not done a bad job. He's taken them from.
I think he's done a fantastic job.
He's made them the dominant team in that division. Right.
Think about where the Bills were beforehand. They were celebrating getting into a playoff with EJ Manuel by donating tens of thousands to the Bengals.
Yeah.
And before that, they hadn't been in the playoffs for.
Not EJ Manuel, Tyrod.
It was Tyrod.
Oh, sorry, it was Tyrod.
Yeah, they weren't
EJ Manuel.
They weren't getting into the playoffs with EJ Manuel.
But before that, didn't they have the longest drought?
Yeah, it was the longest drought
in American sport. Yeah.
Yeah, 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, he has done a fantastic job, but
he'll continue to do a really good job there. They're going to come up against the Chiefs. This is always going to be a problem.
That is the thing.
But
I mean, also the Chiefs are getting worse every year, but then again, they're in the championship game for the 6th year running.
I think I can't remember who mentioned it. They know how to win.
They do. Yeah, they do.
Also, forgive me because this isn't going to sound right at the beginning. I don't believe that the Chiefs are getting enough credit for what they've been doing.
Oh, they're doing an amazing job, but
I think they're getting enough credit.
They have struggled. Yeah,
they have been ropey this season, and at times bad.
They've got shit wide receivers.
In the playoffs, that's it. They know how to win.
It helps that Pacheco has stepped up where Edwards-Helaire did not. But their wide receivers are terrible, and basically it's proving that no matter how good you are as a quarterback, you have to have some talent. I know players elevate other players, but elevating Marquez Valdes-Scantling is still only going to get you so far.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at, we talk a lot about Tom Brady, who did a lot with not very much. Well, he had Wes Gronkowski for a lot of his period.
Yeah.
And he had Edelman. He had...
And his most successful...
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss.
Yeah.
And playoff Danny Amendola.
Playoff Amendola. Yeah. Still one of the best things ever.
Hernandez.
We don't talk about that.
The original Sam Laporte.
Yeah. And he had a suite of running backs who could catch the ball.
You could say any tight end.
Shannon Sharp.
There's so many.
Yep.
So many.
Tony Gonzalez.
So many recent examples as well.
Yep. Antonio Gates. You've gone with
Gronk.
Aaron Hernandez.
So context of this, Sam Laporta
said
modelled himself on Aaron Hernandez.
I would have him followed at all times by the club staff now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He's going to shoot a friend and have sex in jail.
Anyway.
So the
Where
Chiefs,
is Gary again?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, different subject. Look, the Chiefs have done what's required. We've covered this. Andy Reid is somebody who doesn't get enough credit because he has steered a very difficult ship that is transitioning and is struggling in a way that if Belichick had done this 5 years ago, people would be going, wow, what another awesome coaching job. And I've heard nothing about Andy Reid. We've just anointed D'Amico Ryans as coach of the year. Andy Reid's got to a 6th consecutive championship game. What was it? What did he do? Did he do 5 in 6 years at the Eagles as well and didn't make it? But if he wins ring number 3 with the Chiefs,
That's a dynasty.
That is a dynasty.
I think it's dynasty already.
I think you have to win 3, don't you? To be.
Was there an official?
I think officially you have to win 3 rings, but yeah, it is. Of course, it is. It's the Mahomes-Reed dynasty. That's what we're living in, and it's brilliant.
He last won Coach of the Year in 2002,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, since he last won it, we've had
Players come into the league who
Mike
have
Smith,
Matt Nagy.
Ron Rivera, Jason Garrett,
Matt Nagy's had one as well.
Matt Nagy,
Yeah.
Kevin Stefanski, Mike Vrabel, Brian Daboll.
I wish I could remember who it was that won the Pushkas Award for goal of the season, but didn't win goal of the month in the Premier League for their goal of the season. I cannot remember who it was.
We said it the other day. It's like De Bruyne. He always gets Player of the Year, but he never gets Player of the Month.
No, it's crazy. But
I'm
anyway,
pretty sure Andy Reid would settle for a 3rd Super Bowl ring rather than Coach of the Year.
Absolutely.
I just want to let you know, Harry Maguire has a Player of the Month this season.
Good Lord.
What was he playing? Chess?
There you go. Salah, Mohamed Salah. He scored.
Like the sideways scorpion kick thing.
Something, and it didn't win goal of the month. But it won the Puskás Award for best goal of the year.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
NFC, John?
I suppose we should probably mention that.
Where are we starting?
49ers.
There, okay.
So we'll start with the number 1 pick, number 1 seed in that. They beat a spirited Packers team.
Hey, I don't think the 49ers deserve to win it.
I didn't want to say that, but
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, I recorded the game and got up early the next morning to watch it. Thank God I did, because I don't think I would have made it through the whole game had I not had the ability to fast forward, because I probably would have thrown something at the TV.
But you won it on the end.
Yeah.
It was a dumb interception.
It was a very young
It was a young quarterback
thing to do,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And he had no...
But
I mean,
also-
it wasn't even like it's 3rd down, it's first down.
But
It was a
also,
bad
Brock
mistake.
Purdy had one of his worst games because of the weather predominantly. And then in that final quarter,
Tell
he
you what,
actually led the drive
right.
down the field to allow McCaffrey to score. I thought he was really good in the last quarter.
Hang on, Brock Purdy stats, 23 for 39, 252 yards, touchdown, no interceptions, one sack.
Yep.
That's it.
If
Doesn't
you, read
turn
that,
it over.
if you read that out,
Yeah.
you're like, that's a solid game. All right.
Yeah.
Accuracy problems. Oh, it's in the rain. Okay.
Yeah.
Couple of
That's it.
drops.
Yeah.
The amount of media focus at the moment that seems to be on, Brock Purdy's terrible, he's shit. It just seems well out of whack.
No, he's not terrible.
No, he's not. He's going to be second in the MVP race.
It's also his 2nd championship game he's now going to
Yeah.
in a career where he wasn't a 1st-round pick.
No.
I
It
mean,
was literally the last pick.
He's not fashionable.
The thing is,
he's an injury away, or 2 injuries away from never starting an NFL game.
The thing is, he was being touted at the start of this year as, he could be the new Tom Brady. He's come out of nowhere. And the truth is, he's probably somewhere between that and Jimmy Garoppolo, who also had quite a lot of success with the Niners, but elsewhere, not so much. And we're never going to know until he leaves there.
Yeah.
But the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. And do you know what? That will win you a lot of games. So what you like about Jimmy G, he's won a lot of games. So
And got to the Super Bowl.
and got to the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy for me has been fine. Having McCaffrey is the cheat code.
Yep.
Were you the better team on the day?
Nope.
No. Did you win the game? Yes. Have the Chiefs won a lot of games this season like that? Yes.
It's exactly the same as the Chiefs.
Absolutely.
They played badly. They still won. And, I think coming off a bye, not just the bye, but also all the starters took that last week off. That's 3 weeks of no football. There is going to be an element of rustiness. Yeah. They did enough to get through it. They move on and, we put that game to bed and go to the championship game.
Jordan Love has cemented the next step of the succession of Packers' successful teams, though, right?
Yeah,
100%.
He's been everything they could have asked for this season.
I mean, for me, this season shows up what was bad about Aaron Rodgers in that they have got a bevy of wide receivers who are all really young, really talented, and have contributed in different games here and there. And you got Aaron Rodgers going, you never pick a wide receiver, I've got no receiver, no one to play. Well, mate, you didn't put the fucking effort into it.
Is he a 1920s detective?
Yes, he is.
I'm just checking.
When I'm throwing
Do you know,
balls.
you haven't heard... for Aaron Rodgers to see George Formby. I think with Jordan Love, you've heard less about him this season than you would have done if CJ Stroud hadn't
I
been so
think that's
successful.
pretty fair.
Yeah.
Because he's been absolutely everything they could have wanted. And Duncan and any other Packers fan must be delighted because I would love to have had that on my team and you would have loved to have had that on the Giants.
Yeah.
Oh, God, absolutely. But the thing is, like, you know, he's. We talk about the next iteration of the Packers, but you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Losing to the Niners in the playoffs is the way forward for the Packers, isn't it?
5th in a row in the playoffs for the 49ers.
But, you know, like, they either get David Bakhtiari back next season from his injury issues, or they hit the money from probably if he wants to go to the Jets to be with his mate. You know, it's a little bit like the Eagles a couple of years ago, where you thought they might have to go into a rebuild here. Yeah. And suddenly they're in the playoffs and they're playing really well, and it looks like the rebuild actually is
already happened.
Already happened,
yeah.
And you know they have draft picks to use now, and you sort of maybe you know Gutekunst isn't the bastard that Aaron Rodgers told everyone. I think he's for one the Jordan Love deal has worked.
Yeah,
it's. You know, he's going to end up with more money because of it. They've got their guy.
Yeah, but the GM was never the enemy. A 40-year-old man in a tin hat was telling me he wanted $50 million.
Yeah.
Also, like, let's give some credit to Matt LaFleur as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one of the winningest head coaches in his first 3 or 4 years. And now he's, you know, I was always a bit dubious, like, well, you know, you've got Aaron Rodgers there. You kind of should be winning a lot of matches. Now without Aaron Rodgers, he's put in place his scheme, because I think a lot of it was based on what Aaron Rodgers could do / want. I think now he's got a bit more free reign. Packers look great.
Yeah.
And they were a good organisation as well.
Yes.
They just
it's because they haven't got a crazy owner.
Yeah.
They've got
a
couple of £100 of crazy owners.
Yeah. And the distraction is now distracting
someone else.
Someone else. So yeah,
the circus went to New Jersey.
Exactly. Yeah. I get the feeling we might be talking quite a lot about the Packers next year if they can get it right. I think they
did sack the defensive coordinator today.
Yes. So Joe Barry has gone. We'll get into defensive. We'll get into the coordinator.
I don't think it's a bad thing though.
No, I think he was on my hottest seat for
several weeks.
The second half of the season. Yet they still looked fine when it matters, and So in the other game, Lions beat the Bucks. It was an open, fun game, like as generally Lions games are. You know, they can sling it, but they also let other teams sling it.
I mean, this looked like the rest of the playoffs were there, and these two won a contest to be in the playoffs.
collect 10 crisp packets, get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And yet somehow, the Lions have done the unthinkable. What was the thing I sent you? They haven't been in the NFC Championship game since 1991.
Yeah.
So then I sent the list of things that hadn't happened.
Yeah. Text messages.
Yep. All sorts of things.
No iPods.
No, nothing like that. It was an incredible list of things that hadn't happened. Look,
Taylor Swift hadn't been born. I'm guessing there actually.
I have no idea.
Possibly.
Was she not born in 1989? Is that why? Does she not have an album called 1989?
Yes, she did.
Oh, Taylor Swift was only 2 years old. Edit that bit out.
I can't believe I know that. That's disgraceful.
You've got a 13-year-old girl in the house. You know,
It's my partner's daughter as well. Just be careful with that for a second there. I just want to highlight that that's not...
But he lets her out in the garden for an hour a day.
Yeah. The BlackBerry was still 8 years away. Dan Campbell was still in high school.
Oh, bloody hell.
What else? PlayStation and Xbox didn't exist.
It's still
Amazon, Google, MySpace and Facebook didn't exist. There you go. There's a shed load of things.
Facebook's a mile off by that point.
Yeah, of course it was.
Also, this century, the Lions have both gone 0-16 and got to the championship game.
Yeah.
and the Cowboys still haven't.
Yep, that's very
You
true.
sent me that, and I love cowboy slander.
There's not
Yugoslavia
enough
still
Cowboys
existed.
slander. Sorry?
Yugoslavia still existed.
Yeah.
I wasn't at school, but
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I love it. Like they make it hard for themselves because that's what the Lions do. Like
Grit.
the reason we like, people who don't like the Lions look at them and they go, "Well, they're not very good. Why do you like them?" And you're like, "Well, it's because they're not very good." They've hit on their draft picks this year, but actually we came out the draft going, "Oh, I'm not quite sure about that."
Yep.
Like the rest of the team actually isn't great. Like
I don't know. The team's decent. They can't be bad and have got this far.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm saying like the defense, for instance, is
Average.
Actually, mediocre. But what they are very good at is they do not let you run.
No, that's
The
true.
the team that's got the highest rusher against them was Ty Chandler in week 18 when they played the subs. He got 67 yards.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, they're an impressive and hard-fighting team. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They are going to match you toe to toe, and they are not going to back down. If you go 2 scores up, they just assume they're going to score 3 times.
They are built in the image of Dan Campbell.
And that Chiefs Lions Super Bowl is going to be wonderful.
I mean, the other thing is here, we have to start giving credit to Jared Goff, who has the possibility of going to a second Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he didn't win the first one, blah, 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 but
How many quarterbacks go to a Super Bowl with 2 different teams?
not many.
I can
Peyton
think
Manning. is the
Tom
only one.
Brady,
Yeah,
Peyton Manning.
Kurt
both
Warner.
Kurt Warner. Yeah, not a lot of quarterbacks manage it. So I don't know. Like for me, it's quite impressive what he's done. I know he's part of a system. So what?
Yeah, but the system works.
Yeah,
currently.
exactly.
I think when we
Jermaine Gibbs is just growing and growing
Yeah.
and growing as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
excellent player.
When we talk about hottest seat, that doesn't
Craig
necessarily-
Morton, by the way.
Who?
Oh,
Craig Morton.
Broncos and Cowboys,
Yeah.
69 and 70. Yeah.
Nice.
He was part of
Any
a
more?
He was part of a
No,
2
that's
quarterback
literally
system
it.
Was he?
where they literally I think that was Landry rotated the
That's right,
quarterbacks each play. Idiotic. I can't decide between Starbuck and Morton, so I'm just going to rotate them each play. We talk about hottest seat, and that's always usually a negative. Ben Johnson is surely the hottest seat because he'll move on from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's interviewed at the Falcons along with half the league.
I interviewed for the Falcons this week.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard because he's still in the playoffs. He can't. I think you can do like a Zoom interview, but it's hard to get his
It's until the bye week in between the championship game and the Super Bowl is the only time they can actually interview in person.
Yeah. So it's hard, but you've got to imagine that there's gonna be a job opening for him, unless he's gonna be enemy out, and maybe he's just an awful interviewer. I don't know, but yeah,
Well, the only thing that might keep him is maybe the job that he wants has been taken.
yeah,
And he might go, you know what? I wanted the Raiders job. Well, I don't know why he would, but
yeah. No, but that if, for instance, he might fancy working with Justin Herbert rather than having to build a team in like Washington and
absolutely.
You'd be working with an average quarterback if you went to either team.
Is it not possible he might just stay with the Lions?
Yeah, he could well do.
yeah.
Because they're so close to being a Super Bowl contender again.
Well, that's it. I still think part of it is I think they're a team on the build still. That they aren't perfect. They're not. They are scrappy. But yeah, if they keep Johnson and they carry on building, like the GM seems to know what he's doing for once. Why not? They feel like they are probably maybe 1 or 2 years away from.
They're a team with momentum.
Yeah,
Yeah, very much so. And Jared Goff's younger than you think as well, isn't he?
yeah.
Was he 28? 27? I have no idea. I would guess he's 28, but
He's 29.
There's still a lot of Jared Goff left.
thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, especially since he's the type of quarterback that it's not about scrambling. He's a pocket passer, so
He could do another 10 years.
easy, yeah.
Yeah, definitely for the Bucks.
So
The Bucks- for the Bucks-
If you went Brady, he could be playing in 2046.
For the Bucks, the point is, if you'd have given them this
Yeah,
before the season started, just like the Texans, they'd have said, "Oh yes, please, thank you very much." Todd Bowles has done a good job. Baker's done everything you could possibly ask for someone to do to get a contract back there next season. Mike Evans is a free agent, but they'd be foolish to let him leave because he makes that team.
he seems to want to stay. I think the question is,
It's a crap division. If they keep all the pieces and keep coaching them, they're back in the playoffs again next year with another shot.
It's not just Mike Evans, is it? No,
No, Godwin makes a huge.
No. I'm just going to say in terms of kind of free agents, yes, Mike Evans,
Winfield,
Antoine Winfield,
Yep.
Baker Mayfield,
Levante
Levante David,
David.
Devin White, Chase McLaughlin, the kicker. You know,
it's a lot.
it's
It
a
is
lot. I think they got 18 in total.
And
Where
the
are these-
stars.
Where are
Yeah.
these players going to? Because nearly every team is in cap hell.
Yeah, are you saying no one's going to try and make a deal for Mike Evans?
Oh, somebody will. But if they can keep Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, the rest of the things you can work around. Levante David, I would try and keep as well.
Like in Levante David, I try and
Antoine
keep.
after
and
this year,
Winfield has
Winfield.
been brilliant.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So
And actually,
good.
Winfield is possibly could be has been the difference between them being in the playoffs and not.
Yeah,
So like because he made the play on the half yard line, didn't he?
Yeah.
That kept but I know I'm not a Bucks fan. I'd love to see Mike Evans move.
I would as well.
I know he's 31. He looks, still looks great. He's got limited time left. I'd love to see him go and win it with someone else, like
Chiefs,
Yeah,
Bills.
Bills. Just find a team that's going to compete at the far end of the season and go win it again, or because I don't think I love what the Bucks have done this year. I don't see it happening. I think they need to go and rebuild.
I worry. I can't remember if I said this to you on Sunday night. Baker Mayfield's had a great season, but if they sign him up again,
It'll be the Fitzmagic Jets
Yeah, is
year
it
where
the
he all right, he
Fitzmagic
didn't
Jets?
quite make the playoffs,
Yeah.
but he threw all those touchdowns and set all the records. Then the
Yeah.
following season, he threw 14 picks and 4 touchdowns in the first 4 games.
that'd be my biggest concern for this Bucks team.
The possibility is there, but let's be honest. Baker at the Browns was better than we gave him credit for,
Yes.
and they struggled until Joe Flacco turned up.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, agree.
He did really well in his starts for the Rams
Yep.
with no time to
Yep.
practice. Who else did he go to in between?
Panthers.
He went to the Panthers.
It's just a battle.
Everything was terrible, and he was the best of all the terrible, right?
I thought Teddy Bridgewater was all right.
I think Baker was better.
No,
But
No, look, you can't.
but that doesn't.
no,
I mean,
I
nothing
wouldn't
is good there.
anything into the Panthers.
Baker
experience.
is better than people give him credit for. He will have some absolute shockers, but if you put him on a competent team, I don't think there's any question he's going to be a good quarterback.
His accuracy's always been good. He doesn't throw a shit ton of interceptions.
No.
He can scramble to an extent. He's not going to get you Lamar Jackson type
No.
yards, but he can move out the pocket.
He seems to have the way of talking to teammates and get people to rally around
he
him.
does have leadership qualities.
Yeah.
I think that's obvious. I agree. They absolutely should go out their way to try and sign him again. But yeah, I still have that little nagging doubt that it's a bit of a one-season wonder.
Yeah, I don't think that, but I see that there is potential for it to not be as good. What strikes it for me is the division is so terrible.
That's true.
Yeah.
So terrible.
He's earned a starting job somewhere.
He's got a starting job there.
Yeah.
I absolutely think they should. I think they'd be fools to let him leave.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But it might be also worth, if you've got a draft pick, maybe looking at quarterbacks. So we'll get into the Super Championship round later.
You're not going to get away with it.
I've already done it, mate. I'm already getting away with it. So head coach and the GM
Merry-go-round.
news. Yeah, merry-go-round, effectively. So the Raiders. Pierce is now the full-time head coach rather than interim head coach.
They learn from Bisaccia.
They learned from McDaniel that they don't have to just go for someone they've heard of. They've also made Tom Telesco their GM, who he got fired by the Chargers after leaving them in absolute cap hell this summer.
You gave JC Jackson what?
Yeah. But yeah, so it's.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't. But actually, you know what? Let's not kid. Fucking love it. Because
I don't mind the coaching appointment at all. I have no problem with it. I don't think many people wanted the job.
I agree with
I
that.
don't think anyone was really queuing up for it.
Yeah.
I think the players wanted Pierce. So I think it's worth a shot. If it goes badly, they don't lose a lot of face by dropping him after a year. Because no one else wants that role.
To me, this feels like a Jim Tom Sula type appointment, in that he's someone already in the organisation which the players like. All right, the difference is, yeah, he went 5-4 in his run.
Yeah.
At the end, something like that.
Right.
Good run. I think they did. I think they realised they made a mistake in not hiring Bisaccia last time, and they're trying to right that wrong. I'm not sure that's a good enough reason for hiring someone.
No.
Does it matter when you're the Raiders?
Well, that is it, isn't it? Because we'll mention whilst we're in there were the Chargers. The betting now is that it's Harbour. They've given him assurances of control and the money. I think it's the control he
We've
wants.
been through it. If you were Harbour, that's the one you'd want.
Yeah.
Because the quarterback is there.
Yeah.
Well,
A quarterback is there.
Which is going to be mad that in the West, you have teams run by Jim Harbour, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and Pierce. And so, yeah, or what might happen for the Raiders is they just lose another year. Or he's fine and they just finish fourth.
Yeah. 6-11 or
6-11 because the division's really
no
strong.
one wants the job.
No. But yeah, so we wait on the Chargers, but it looks like it's going to be Harbour. The Titans appoint Brian Callahan. He's the offensive coordinator from the Bengals. Another young offensive coordinator gets a job.
Now, this is to help Will Levis, right? To
Yes.
do what Joe Burrow has done. Will Levis is not Joe Burrow.
No.
They're about to lose Derrick Henry, who's been their offense. I'm not sure this is going to be a success.
I think it needs time because I think they need to go through a full
I think the
rebuild.
Titans have been a very premature with their decision to get rid of Vrabel. I think he was doing a good job. You let coaches like that have a down season. Like, you don't just hoof them out the door.
I don't think he wanted to be there.
No.
I think any rumour that New England was available, I think he wants to be at New England.
They've said, haven't they, that basically that they thought they could trade him because he didn't want to be there, but then it takes time. You might as well get a march on it, get rid of him.
Do you think he's going to crop up in New England?
No.
He's going to might crop up somewhere.
He's going to crop up somewhere. Anyway, I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind Brian Callahan as an appointment. I think it's the right decision to go for an offensive coordinator or offensive head coach now with Will Levis, because you've got to give him every chance you can to succeed. If he's what you're building your franchise around, then find someone who can work with a young quarterback and has had experience on that. I guess my biggest concern is that he didn't have the play calling duties in Cincinnati. That was Zach Taylor. I mean, it's not a massive hindrance. It's just I think that could be a watch out. I think it'd be interesting to see who he does bring in as assistant coaches. His dad is the offensive line coach for the Browns. Is there a bit of nepotism there? The Browns have got a great offensive line. one of their strongest points.
Would
The Titans haven't got an offensive line. It's one of their weakest
They
points.
could really do with him, but would the Browns let him go?
Exactly.
You know, it'd be madness after this year. But, you know, especially to help a fellow AFC team.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. When I heard it, I was just a bit.
I think it's good, but he needs time.
Yeah. I think there's a lot. You pointed out there's a lot of work to do on the Titans. I think there's more pressure on the GM than the head coach there.
Yes,
That's a team that's felt like it's on a bit of a downward slide since the AJ Brown trade.
Well, it feels like since
Which Vrabel didn't want.
No.
Yes.
It feels like they've been sabotaging Vrabel since that trade.
Yes.
You know, is what it is. But yeah. Elsewhere, the Panthers have hired Dan Morgan as their GM. They've promoted him from within.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, why?
He's a yes man.
Yep.
He's not big enough name to question David Tepper's
So
decisions.
why does David Tepper not just do it himself?
He can't throw cups at himself.
That team is going to be awful.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter who's in
I
charge.
totally agree.
That is that is the
Said
new,
it a couple of weeks ago.
the new commanders.
I said it a couple of weeks ago. That is the head coaching job I'd want the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the new bad Browns.
I would take the Raiders over that job.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I just don't see what they've got going for them. And David Tepper, it is worse probably than working for Mark Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Falcons, they've interviewed Belichick twice, Vrabel twice, Raheem Morris twice.
Slowick twice.
Yeah.
Sorry, Slowick will be twice.
So it will be twice. I think he's interviewed tomorrow, Thursday. They've interviewed 14 people in total. They are really casting the net wide. I don't hate that. I think that,
It's fine. There's no,
you know, what you see is there's quite a difference between interviewing Bobby Slowick and Raheem Morris and Bill Belichick, and do they know what they want?
It's due diligence. You can't have Belichick be on the market and not interview him.
Yeah.
But you don't have to like what he says. He might come in and say, this is how I do it. This is what gets me success. I need 3 years. And you might look at him and think, 3 years is a long time.
Well,
Yep.
I
I
don't know.
I think the thing with Belichick is he probably wants a bit more power than some of the other ones. And I think the same with Jim Harbaugh as well. He probably wants a bit more power than some of the other candidates like Raheem Morris or Bobby Slowick. The Falcons have got a GM in place. I think there's with that position, I think they're probably thinking about whether that's right for them.
Yeah.
I don't hate it either. I think the best candidate is still out there in the market and he's still with the Lions. So maybe they're waiting for him.
Yeah, no, you know.
And that's fine as well. Why?
It's
no
full
rush.
Any
is no
team
rush.
not interviewing Belichick is making a mistake by just not interviewing him.
Absolutely. Just get some bloody ideas off of him.
But
As well,
doesn't mean you have to like it.
No, exactly. We mentioned it last week. He's going to be interviewing you, because he wants to, he will want to know basically how much power he's going to get. You know, how he's been used to working a specific way for the last 24 years.
Yeah.
It's got to fit both ways. I don't. I can't
One of
imagine
you
why
asked
you
me-
wouldn't talk about.
One of you asked me the other week whether we done the right thing to part ways with Belichick if he then goes on and wins the Super Bowl like Brady did. And the answer is yes, because we're only
wasn't
going
working.
downhill. It's not. Sometimes it just doesn't work anymore. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like the Andy Reid at the Eagles thing. They could have stuck with it forever and ever and ever, and eventually they probably would have won the Super Bowl. But you move on, you take your medicine for a few years, and then you make a re-emergence to being success again, hopefully. So I've got nothing against him going somewhere else, and I hope he does fine if he does. But teams would be foolish not to look at a man who's been that successful, who's produced one of the best defenses in the league this season, and has only been let down by the fact that Bill O'Brien, who's no longer in the league and has had to go back to college.
And Robert Kraft wouldn't sanction his he wanted Mac Jones out, and the board wouldn't move him on. He didn't want that quarterback room.
No, I don't believe he did.
I don't know what he would have had in place. I don't know if he was going to run with Zappa.
That goes
But
all
whatever.
the way back to Belichick wanted Brady to go earlier. He wanted to keep Jimmy G.
Yeah.
And they have never been on the same page with quarterbacks ever since.
Yeah.
Because he said then, Brady was 38 or 37 when he moved on, and he wanted Jimmy G. Now, again, you can look at that and say, well, that was a terrible decision or a great decision, but they've never been on the same quarterback pace. They ended up with Cam Newton virtually by default. Belichick is not that sort of quarterback who wants Cam Newton, and actually it was working, and then COVID. Mac Jones is probably an okay quarterback, but his temperament is not the one that's going to work with Belichick. It might work with Mayo, but it does not work with Belichick.
It's not working with the Patriots dressing room at the moment.
It is, I think he needs to
I'd
go.
love Mac Jones to go into another team and be successful. He seems like an okay guy.
He seems
An awful gritty. I think for me, it's a case of you've got to try something different. You can't. There's nothing exciting about what Belichick was there at that point. So actually, let's try and give the fans another reason to turn up. Let's do.
Imagine if Belichick teamed up with Andy Reid and became defensive coordinator of the Chiefs.
I mean, that would be fucking.
And they could get Pete Carroll in to do motivational speeches, and that'd be it. What a team.
Yeah, I mean, as we'll get into it, the Dolphins just got rid of their defensive
coach.
coordinator.
So Vic Fangio's been released.
Vic Fangio's been released as of this afternoon.
A mutual parting of the ways.
A mutual parting of
We
ways.
want you to leave, and we'd
Paul,
like you to agree with
We
that.
go there, just fuck off.
Here's some, how much money do we have to get you to say you weren't sacked? Poor Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Never given a chance with the Broncos.
Yeah.
Gone too soon.
He's not dead.
What? He's looked dead for a long time.
Elsewhere, the Cowboys are sticking with Mick McCarthy
Bastard.
because they've decided that losing in the first round of the playoffs is just fine for them.
But they've not given him a contract extension. He's a lame duck coach this season.
That's it. It's a pointless decision. It's a non-decision. That's the worst bit of it. And the Eagles are sticking with Sirianni. And
But they sacked everyone else.
So, elsewhere, the coordinator roundup, they have removed Brian Johnson as offensive coordinator and Sean Desai and Matt Patricia as defensive coordinators stroke play callers. I don't know what they were by the end. So...
Talk about Matt Patricia's been let go as defensive scapegoat.
Yeah. So I've not seen any rumours about who they're getting in to replace Thingy Bob. Johnson.
I do wonder how much of that is going to be up to Sirianni as well.
Yeah.
Because we mentioned McCarthy being a lame duck. Sirianni is also potentially a lame duck. If they have another bad year, he has to be gone.
Well, this is the type of thing that happens when you're basically going, you've got one more year.
Yeah.
We're going to change the team around you. We're going to let you change the team. But
how much of that is going to be on him? Because he's already had a year where it's not worked. He's brought in a bad OC. Brian Johnson was a quarterback's coach before he was the offensive coordinator. He's got a long-time relationship with Jalen Hurts. So there is a question, is Jalen Hurts going to be pissed off with this?
Yep.
Who knows? And then Jalen Hurts has surely got to have some input as to who the offensive coordinator is going to be.
Yeah, I mean...
Because that's what your franchise is.
The only rumour I have seen is Clinker Nuts.
No one wants clinker nuts.
I like how when they were talking about him in the articles I saw, it was like noted college coach. No, he's not a noted college coach. He's noted as a guy who absolutely shat up Arizona with a really nice living room.
I mean, judging by his house, he has no need to work.
No.
But yeah, the Eagles have interviewed Cliff Kingsbury for the offensive coordinator position because he's also interviewed at Chicago, where he didn't get the job, and Steelers.
What's the bet if Vic Fangio ends up in Green Bay?
It's not a bad shout.
That's not a bad shout.
Not a bad shout at all.
I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah.
His team, his defenses generally take a bit of time to bed in.
It's either Green Bay or wherever Jim Harbaugh ends up.
Yeah, I could see that very much.
Yeah. So elsewhere, Packers have removed Joe Barry as their defensive coordinator because they listen to this podcast and what we say. And the Bears hire Shane Waldron as offensive coordinator, so he's gone across from the Seahawks. They also interviewed Cliff Clinkernuts, and I just wonder if it was because they wanted information about Caleb Williams.
Do you know what? It wouldn't have been the worst idea just to do that.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, fair play to them.
Yeah, why not? So I still think they should keep Fields.
I don't think they will, though.
I think they should.
I think they should as
I think
well.
there's a really good quarterback in there. Yeah, you have to look at it and say, would you be pleased with him on my team? And if he was going to the Giants or going to the Pats, you'd be saying, thank you very much, I'll give that a go.
I literally did that in Madden. As the Giants GM, I bought in Justin Fields.
I saw a meme about it. You know, the Family Guy when they give him the option of the box or a boat, and he's like, "But we have the Bucks. Like, what? There could be a boat in here." And that's it. Like the Bears GM going, "Well, we could take the number 1 pick, but he could be the next Fields." And you're like, "Yeah, no, just stick with Fields." We'll keep going on as the merry-go-round continues. But might as well talk about the Super Championship round. So,
stop it.
Slap him. Just slap him.
Ow.
That's the worst slap
That was pretty lame, Paul.
Well, I noticed at the last moment I was going to hit him in the eye. So I was like, ugh.
So, no Saturday games. Both of them on Sunday. In the UK, the AFC is at 8 and the NFC is 11. It says 11:30, 11:40. By the time it starts. Chiefs Ravens. So it's in both games. It's the first versus the third seed.
I'm taking the Ravens all day.
I'm taking the Ravens
all day. And I know I'm going to regret it. And I know Paul's looking at me like I'm definitely taking the Chiefs. But this is a Ravens team that can exploit a stuttering Chiefs defense, and it's a defense that can break through that Chiefs O-line and put Mahomes under pressure and make some turnovers. And I just feel that's the way it's going to go. I think this is the Lamar redemption year. He's going to go all the way.
Yeah, I'm going to predict a massive game for Roquan Smith. I think he's going to be excellent, and the Ravens will win. I don't think it'll be rip-roaring. I think it might be a bit attritional.
Oh, this is going to be like 17-14 or something. Yeah.
But I still think the Ravens win. Jim?
Justin Tucker at the death.
So
Not a bad shout.
Paul's going for the Chiefs.
How do you know?
Because you always
You've
go
got
for
that
the
smug
Chiefs.
look on your face that says I'm taking the Chiefs again for the 9th year in a row.
For the last 6 years, has that failed?
Patrick Mahomes has been their starter for 6 years and they've been to 6 championship games.
Yeah, so it's done me pretty well. And even the season before with Alex Smith, where it's 6-0.
Yep.
Where Mariota knocked them out throwing a touchdown to himself.
Yes. Jim?
It still makes me laugh.
Yeah, I'd go for the Chiefs just because we've said in terms of they know how to win, and if it's not going to be an absolute air raid, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but if it's just going to be a slugfest, I go with the Chiefs because Andy Reid knows how to win.
He does.
And I also think that is experienced coaches, and I say Spagnuolo's the difference here for me.
Have you seen the Josh Allen curse?
No.
So, any team that has played Josh Allen, beaten Josh Allen in the playoffs, then loses the next game.
Well, that's quite incredible, but no.
Yeah.
I don't believe in curses. It's just luck of the draw.
No, I don't believe in curses, but also I'm going with the
So
Ravens.
you're going with the Ravens. Jim, you got to commit here, Jim.
Yeah, it's really hard.
And now, what about your commitment, though?
Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah.
My
careful.
head is saying Ravens because of everything you said. They're really good.
But what does your heart say?
Hang on, I'm going to come on to that. Yes, the defense is really good. Yes, the offense is good. Lamar Jackson is playing out of his skin, probably better than the year that he won the MVP. They've got wide receivers. They occasionally do have a running game.
Gus the Bus can be the difference.
Just the Bus could be even Justice Hill had a good game at the weekend. And of course, you've got Lamar, yeah.
And it's nice not having Gary doing Lamar jokes, by the way. We've mentioned him loads of times.
So you're saying
No. No. Leave it.
50-50 chance that we
Jesus
get out.
Christ.
But Paul has a really valid point in that you can't rule out Mahomes.
If there's any Justice Hill.
Yeah.
What? Oh, come on now. No. Stop. It's not okay.
That's a double whammy, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was brilliant. It's not okay. Yeah. Did you just say Paul made a valid point?
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Stop.
It's the same point every year. All the Chiefs are good.
But they are. And their offensive line is really good. Like the two playoff games, Mahomes hasn't been under any pressure. The Ravens, the defense is good, but I don't think it's brilliant.
Oh, no, it's not brilliant.
And I think Mahomes is brilliant.
Yes, he is. But
I
so
think-
is Lamar.
Yeah. No, I'd still take Mahomes over Lamar. And I think the running game is starting to get something. And the receivers are just turning up all of a sudden. And Kelsey's now playing like he's Kelsey. There's momentum with the Chiefs, more so than I think with the Ravens. I also think the Ravens had a really simple game on Sunday. And I always go with a battle-tested team. And for me, that's the Chiefs. And I really think the Ravens will win. And I really want the Chiefs to win.
Shouldn't the Chiefs have lost, though?
Can I just throw something out here?
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah.
Because you look at some of the players in the Chiefs. All right, you've got your Mahomes and your Kelsey, 6 AFC Championship games. Joe Tooney, he did all right at the Patriots before, didn't he?
Yeah.
So that's a guy who pretty much only knows how to win. Has Lamar played in an AFC Championship game before?
No.
Has Roquan Smith? Has any of these players had experience in the big game?
I think
other than OBJ?
just for that, and just for the fact that the Chiefs seem to just be winning, I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Well,
Randomly.
I injected the poison and I got us to 50-50.
Randomly, Gary's chosen the Jets.
Yeah.
So, weird.
yeah.
NFC then.
NFC.
I wonder where Jim's going with this.
Yeah, 49ers.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No hope for the Lions.
Oh, no, there's hope. I think you had the point earlier, the running game, the running defense of the Lions is really strong, and it absolutely is. But they haven't got a great
The passing defense is really bad.
It's really bad.
I have to I've been with the Lions since last season, right? I've loved watching them. It would be so much funnier to watch the Niners lose the Super Bowl. So I'm taking the Niners just so I can watch that agony all over again. That sweet agony.
That's actually the one reason I want the Lions to win, so I don't have to go through that.
It's
To watch the Niners lose the Super Bowl to the Chiefs again would be wonderful.
So I'm taking the Niners. I think it's
Is that because you want the Lions to win for the Super Bowl factor, or do you?
No, genuinely, regardless of Schadenfreude, the Niners are a better team.
Who does he play for?
He's the German bloke. It was Morris Burritz and him. The Niners. You're going to win. There's no two ways around it. The Lions don't have the it to overcome the fact that you have all of the brilliant players. It's been a wonderful ride, but the only way the Lions win this is if you absolutely capitulate. Yeah, if you shit the bed.
But also, you talk in terms of the passing offense and the passing defense for the Lions isn't that great. But the passing offense for the 49ers is yak, isn't it?
It is.
And
Well,
Not entirely.
mostly.
Yeah.
it could be, but Debo hasn't broken his shoulder, but he isn't. I think it might even be game time decision about Debo,
Yeah, they said they'll
Which
be
doesn't-
even more today or tomorrow.
which doesn't help.
I think.
Inject this in your shoulder and get out there.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's not broken means he probably will be out there.
He'll appear.
But I also think because when he went out the game on Saturday, there was. I don't think it felt like there wasn't a plan B. It felt like they tried just to get other people to do that Debo role. I don't think Kyle Shanahan is stupid enough to go into Sunday without a plan that is Debo-less.
Yeah, but he's a massive loss.
Huge.
If He's not
Yeah,
there.
absolutely huge.
Just
I'm going for the 49ers.
yeah.
I also would love to see the Lions. I think it's a year too early.
If it wasn't for the fact that they're playing the 49ers in this game, I would also love to see the Lions in the Super Bowl. I think it'd be amazing.
And next year, when it's the AFC Championship game of the Lions versus the Packers, great. But
Yeah.
I think it's a year early. I think the 49ers have the know-how.
It's in Santa Clara.
It's in Santa Clara. Apparently it's going to be a nice sunny day.
Perfect.
So Purdy doesn't have to worry about the rain because San Francisco quarterbacks can't operate in the rain.
Harsh but true.
So yeah, I think it's
We're allowing our heads to rule our hearts here, John.
and it's
But-
disgusting, and I hate myself.
I mean, also,
But also, I've got 20 quid riding on this. So, I'm going to buy myself a massive pizza with it.
You do realise next week's podcast, if the Lions win, just opens with 10 minutes of laughing.
Just us three.
no, I'd refuse to record unless we had one of you.
We would turn up at Gary's house regardless, just waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm coming round this house regardless next week.
Changing subject. According to Bleacher Report, the Eagles are expected to hire Vic Fangio.
Oh, I like it.
And the
changes
Panthers
things.
are interviewing for Vrabel.
Oh, God.
God. Poor
Poor
Vrabel.
Mike,
Vrabel.
what's he done?
Well, he's just going for every job available. Really,
Suppose
isn't
so,
he?
yeah.
But yeah, and
Wow.
is a shit job better than no job? I don't know.
No.
If you're a multi-millionaire, no.
Yeah.
Right, we do further that question when we finish the podcast.
So, that's our our weekly awards before we finish. I'll pull your game with the 49ers, I believe. I didn't get your prediction, but yeah. I think
Everyone said the 49ers, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Lions.
Yeah, of course.
Of course you are.
That's some cojones.
No, I tell you, the Lions are an interesting. I'm not going to just do it to be the contrarian.
Makes a change.
You are.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. But the Lions are an interesting team. They don't play like normal teams, and in terms of scheming to play against them, they're quite unpredictable. And I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, no, I'd say, I'd love to see the Lions there, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the 49ers are just too good and professional. So, our weekly awards. So, sweetest play of the week.
The Sims
Yeah.
touchdown.
Yeah, the Sims
For the
return
Texans.
was excellent.
I mean, that's unanimous.
I like Lee's touchdown as well.
Yeah, there's some. They're not as good as the Sims return, and so yeah, I'm not going to mention them. Hottest seat.
Whoever is deciding the rules and doesn't change that touchback rule.
They've said that it is likely to change, haven't they?
Yeah,
Because it needs.
Absolutely has to
It's
change.
a terrible rule.
yeah. And for saddest seat, I'm going to nominate Mick McCarthy because just dead man walking.
It's just the scowl you'll get off Jerry Jones every time you walk in the building.
Yeah,
If I could afford to sack you.
Yeah, he can.
Can.
Yeah. He's a very rich man.
I get it.
He makes like $9 billion a year. His fucking organisation. He can afford to get rid of Mick McCarthy. Although I will be sad when he goes, and we can't just call him Mick McCarthy.
Bastard.
MVP of the week. Lamar for me. I thought he was excellent. And I think he's showing the leadership skills now as well that I think people were not... that's one of the reasons the team didn't want to go for him was he was both injury prone and lacked leadership because it was all, turns out, all bullshit.
I'm going to be very biased and say Christian McCaffrey.
That is very biased.
I'm going to be very biased and go for Patrick Mahomes.
I was going to say Kinlaw.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It was brilliant, yeah.
He was absolutely brilliant on your defence. I'll go with anyone else you like. I thought Mahomes probably deserved
Well,
it.
do you want to be the tiebreaker between Lamar, McCaffrey, and whatever Paul said?
You said Mahomes, did you not?
Yeah.
Paul?
Correct. Yes.
I'm going with Paul. I think Mahomes in the end did enough to take what is a terrible set of wide receivers past the man who I thought was going to be MVP.
In his
Josh Allen.
first away playoff game as well.
In his first away playoff game, which is mental, by the way.
Yeah, not exactly an easy place to go either, is it?
No.
Yeah.
He can throw in the cold.
Oh, Jason Kelsey is my MVP.
Oh, what, for being absolutely off his trolley?
Yeah.
That was nice. Yeah. Well, we'll leave it there. We'll come back and we'll look at the Super Championship round next
Jesus
week.
Christ. You have to stop.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's a Super Pro Bowl next week.
Oh, then yeah, we can. We'll do our All Pro team rather than that bullshit. So yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll come back next week. Enjoy the game. Yeah. See you next week. Bye.